On today's episode of Whatever the Heck That Means, we have our first special episode. We're going to look at the entrepreneurial lessons of a youth hockey tournament. Hello, friends. I hope you are having a good day, or at least making today better for someone else. My name is Sean Kennedy. I'm founder and president of Symbiotrek and the creator of Whatever the Heck That Means. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of a weekend hockey tournament. And as we go along, I'm going to try and draw from it entrepreneurial lessons. This year, I coached a hockey team. This was my second year coaching a youth hockey team for my son Liam. And we were called the Ice Sharks. We had a great group of kids, of parents, and we really took to heart this idea of putting in the effort, having the right attitude, having respect for each other, our opposition, the referees, and the game that we were playing, and trying to get better as we went. We really had a good way of working, and we had ups and downs in the season, but in the end, we also won the championship. It was amazing and incredible. And while we probably won't be back together in full on a regular basis, we enjoyed being together as a team so much that we always said we would look for ways to get back together, because there's a huge advantage in hockey and in business in working with people you already know, and people that you've been successful with and that you know how to work together with, and that you share values and you share a mission. So this was why, when we had the opportunity to sign up for a youth hockey tournament, and I put it out there to the team, so many people, pretty much everyone, wanted to participate, except for a couple who were traveling and couldn't join in. So reassembling the team, adding in a few other people and friends that we knew, again, coming through that network of family and of teammates from other hockey teams, we put together a team for a tournament. Now, going into the tournament, we certainly knew that anything could happen. When you come and play in a tournament like this, you're never entirely sure of the skill level of your competition. Would we be on par with the teams that are there? Or would we be way above in our skill or way below? And so it wasn't until the first game that we were going to find this out. And so we all put in mind that it was only the effort and the attitude that we could control. We could not control the outcome. And I think this is something that's good to remember in business as well. There's so many variables, so many unknowns, so many things that you cannot plan for, so many things that can happen unexpectedly, that you can't really control the outcome. You can only control what you put in and how you handle and deal with the struggles and situations and the opportunities that you may encounter. And so we had our first game. Our first game was against some 12-year-old girls. And at this point, I think it's important to know that our team was in the verge, on the process of moving up a level in age. We had played in what's called 10U, or under 10, which means that for the past season, we had 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds and some 8-year-olds for part of the season on our team. And in moving up now, because we now had 11-year-olds, we were playing up an age category. And so we had 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 9-year-olds on our team. And if you know what happens with girls and boys as they start to have that age difference, or the age around 12, and the girls mature and grow a whole lot sooner, it was like we were going out as little children to play against grown-ups. It was a complete shock. We were absolutely out of our league. And that girls' team dominated us in that first game. We lost 12-0, and we did not even secure a single shot on net. All game long, our team was in shock. I think I was in shock on the bench as well. What could I possibly do to help out? Aside from comforting the players, some of whom would come back to the bench with tears in their eyes. It was so difficult and emotional to be finding out how far behind we were compared to this team. There were hopes, there were aspirations, there were this understanding of being used to having some level of success and some level of ability on the ice, and it had just evaporated from us. It had disappeared. Players who were used to out skating and skating around and stick handling through the opposition found that they couldn't get away from the checkers. At best, they could keep up with them. And it was very difficult and challenging. But all the way through, even to the end, and this comes to the character and the attitude of the team that we had assembled, players were out there still putting in their best efforts. Even towards the end of the game, we saw shift after shift of effort being put in, even when it was already 12-0. There was no quit. And while we were completely shocked on the bench and in the dressing room afterwards, there was never a pointing of fingers. There was never a blaming of anyone for what was happening. But really, what could we do? And this is where that, even though we had prepared for the potential worst, experiencing it was much more difficult than ever imagined. And this is where the Stockdale Paradox, which I've talked before about on other videos, which is where you have to confront the brutal facts of your present reality, while at the same time having unyielding faith that things will turn out in the end, really came into play. We did have to confront the brutal facts. We were certainly against this team far below them in skill level, and likely we were going to find a similar situation, although maybe not as bad, with the team we'd be playing in the morning. So what adjustments could we make? What could we do differently? How could we try to generate some more offense and some more opportunities to score? What would be the trade-offs and changes that we could make? And how could we be sure that we came with a positive attitude the next day? Well, over the night, I did record a video like this for the kids to try and get them to shake it off and be able to come to the rink tomorrow with a fresh mind, ready to go again and put in the effort. Again, doing what we can control, not what we can't, not worrying about that, supporting each other. And we made some adjustments to the lineup, and we went out Saturday morning with some hope to our second game. We had made adjustments, and we had recommitted to doing our best. Whether it was going to be good enough or not, we would keep putting in that effort, and we would keep supporting each other, and we would keep being positive in what we were doing. Now, this team we played the next day, they were not as good as this first team we had played. However, we still had some growing pains, and we took a step back after making these adjustments. We could see that we were on the path to moving forward. We had more offensive opportunities. We had more pressure. We, in fact, were moving the play to them at some times, although too often taking shots kind of into the middle of the goalie that he was just gobbling up and shutting down so that we weren't getting goals out of our scoring chances. And some of our adjustments, moving some players who had been on defense to forward to try and produce some more offense and energy up front, meant that we had new players on defense, and there was adjustment that needed to happen between the pairings, as well as some of those new players getting accustomed to playing a position that they were unused to. So while they did a great job, this second game was a game of adjustments, commitment, and some level of stepping back in order to move forward. And that's an important thing to realize in business as well, that sometimes as we make the changes, there's a dip. As we are making our adjustments to get forward to a better place, we have to be okay or accepting of moving back sometimes. So in this game, we had one goal, but we gave up a number on breakaways because we were not fully accustomed to the new things that we needed to do for success. Our third game came Saturday night, and because of the size of our division, which was 3 teams and they had guaranteed 4 games, they set it up as a double round robin, which meant Saturday night we were back again playing against that excellent girls hockey team that had totally stomped us on Friday night. And here was a breakthrough of progress. So we knew that they were going to be still much larger than us. They were still going to be much more experienced than us, having played hockey longer than most of the players on the team, and having played together for longer than certainly we had, even as a full group of Ice Sharks, let alone the group of Ice Sharks plus the additions that we had added. But we also knew that we had found a good path with the adjustments and the recommitment that we had made. And we believed that we could get out there and give them a shock and make it this game completely different. And that's what we did. We came out with energy. We came out with attack and hunger for the puck, hunger to find ways to win, and a positive attitude of effort that meant that we did not give up. We did not lose heart. I was worried after the game on Friday, and that was one of the reasons why I had made that video, that some of the players wouldn't want to come back, especially some of the new players who were not used to being with our team. But everyone did come back, and everyone really showed up at this second game against the girls' team. And while we lost again, we reduced the score, and in fact had the game very close at one point. It was still 4-1 midway or almost to the end of the second period when we had a few lapses and mistakes, and they scored 3 quick goals. But in the end, it was an 8-1 final score. And at the end of the game, we had their coaches and their players complimenting us as coaches and players too on the incredible improvement that we had made, how much more competitive we had been, how different this game was than the game that we played just 24 hours before. So this is the power of that growth mindset and the willingness to put in the effort to try to fix the problems, to try the new things, and having the right attitude and belief that things will turn out in the end. So for fun, or an additional fun part of that, was that Coach Brindamore of the Hurricanes, who had a child playing in this tournament as well, ended up watching some of this game and seeing the great effort that we had put in. And I just like to think, I had no opportunity to speak with him afterwards, that he saw some of how he played hockey when he was a player, and certainly how he coaches the Hurricanes to play hockey and how we were playing. And I think that was a really nice treat to know that that we had put on such a great effort. We had such good attitude, because you never know who's watching or seeing what you're doing. And doing your best is always the best thing that you can do. So then we come to our fourth game, and we're back against that second team we played, where we had started to turn it around. And we really believed that we could surprise them and give ourselves a chance to win this game. We had seen the impact of the changes we made against the girls starting to come to fruition. And we believed in this fourth and final game of the tournament, we would give ourselves a chance to win. And so we did. We came out with our full energy, with our full full intention of winning. And we even got up 2-1 in the first period. By the end of the first, it was tied. Unfortunately, we had a couple other lapses in the second to get behind 4-2. And with 2 minutes left in the game, we were down 2 goals, 6-4. And the team that was out there just buzzed. We pulled the goalie. We tried to put on the extra pressure. We made shots and attempts and passes. We did everything we possibly could to try and get 1 goal back, 2 goals back, tie the game, and maybe give ourselves a chance to win in a shootout. Unfortunately, we didn't climb the rest of the hill. But in that end, even though we came up short in what we couldn't control, came up short on the scoreboard, we really did triumph in what we could. We really did adjust. We really did put in the effort to continue moving forward. The adjustments weren't just between games, they were in the game itself. But we kept moving forward and progressing. And again, at the end of this game, the coaches and the players on the other team complimented and shared with us their appreciation for our improvement and how much more challenging this game had been over the previous one that we had played. And in the end, even though we did not win a single game in this entire tournament, we were successful in our objectives of both striving to win and learning and improving and getting this great experience, knowing the value of putting effort in, of supporting each other, of forming together as a team. As players on the team, every single player improved himself over the course of the tournament. As a team, we improved how we played together, and each player supported the others in order that they would get better too. So ultimately, as well, the players made the game better as recognized by our competition and their parents and all of these other things. So this was the triple impact that we want to have as workers, employees, and entrepreneurs as well. We want to constantly be working to improve ourselves. We want to be working to improve those on the team around us. And we want to be improving the game, or in the terms of business, the world that our customers experience when they consume or use our offering, our product or service. And so as we wrap this up, the story of hockey, youth hockey, and maybe trying to see how it relates to our approach to business and entrepreneurship as we go, I'll summarize some 5 key takeaways, I think, from this topic. Getting the right people on your team is the very first thing that you can do. And there's huge value in tapping back into and partnering with people you've had success with in the past. It's not that we can't form teams at any time with anyone that we come across. That's a skill we should have. But when it comes down to it, there's no doubt that having trust and previous success with your group of people will help you be more successful faster. So that is a critical part of your journey, is picking the right people and creating a good climate for them to work in. The second thing is the Stockdale Paradox again. I almost always seem to be talking about it, and it's not surprising as it's one of my anchoring core values. Again, confronting the brutal facts. We didn't get upset at each other because we weren't winning. Part of the brutal facts was we were outclassed by the division and teams that we were playing against. But that didn't mean we gave up. That didn't mean we threw up our hands and said, this is stupid because we're outclassed. What hope do we have? Instead, we advanced. We worked on what we could. We adjusted where we needed to, and we kept putting the effort in. We had this unyielding faith that things would turn out in the end. Is that there's a non-linear path to improvement. In some sense, our second game and all those breakaway goals illustrated a step back that we took as we made adjustments and we asked people to do new things that they had not done before, as we needed to do new things together as a team. We took a step back. But that's very important, that we were adjusting. We couldn't continue how we were because that was a dead-end path. So yes, taking a step back in the short term maybe hurt, but it gave us a new path that we could pursue going forward. And that's something we have to consider in our business too, as we iterate towards success, towards increasing the value that we provide to our customers. The fourth thing is that even once we determined we were on the right track, we were heading in the right direction, the big results don't follow just like that. It's a process, it's a journey, and it takes time. And we need to give ourselves and our team permission and space to take that journey and to grow and improve as we do. And we keep learning too. It's not like we've simply figured it out once and now we're just going down that path. We may not need to take as big a step back as we did at one point, but we're constantly adjusting and finding what we need to do to better serve, to better deliver, to just get the results that we're looking for. And finally, the fifth point, and this underlies it all, and it's this long-term view. It's this bigger picture view, that we're not just going by what's on the scoreboard, but we're going about the learning that's taking place as we go. That we're building, learning, and playing for the long run. And we have to take that long run approach in the development of children in sports and school and wherever else, but also in the development of our businesses. We have to look at the long run. And that is a big advantage for the entrepreneurs and the businesses that do have that long run view, rather than only working to the short term and having very little tolerance for the step backs. So, do you understand a little bit better about what you need to do, stop doing, or keep doing to create the beautiful business you've always imagined? Like and subscribe if you do, and let me know in the comments either way. If you have questions about this topic or other topics that this conversation has put in mind for you, let's also drop those questions into the comments too. Visit WTHTM.com for more helpful content like this, including our resource, 5 books to read and apply to become a better entrepreneur, which you can get at WTHTM.com/5books. That's the number 5 and the word books. If you think you need help building your beautiful business, getting from business potential to business actual, contact me through symbiotric.com. Thanks so much for joining me today, and until next time, go and make someone else's life a little bit better.